Alright guys, what we're going to talk about today are lunges. And I know no one's ever gone, hey, we're going to do lunges today, and everybody's been pumped up, like, yeah, I can't wait to do my lunges. But lunges can be probably one of the most important patterns that we have. Partly because we have instability going on. We have a reduced space support, so we get more planes of motion calling in, especially that frontal plane that we'll talk about in a second. The other thing is we have direction with lunging. So we can go laterally, we can go forward, we can go backward, cross over, we can go diagonally, which is mimicking more of what humans actually do. Just as talking to you, I'm sort of moving not just up and down, but in different directions. Now the reason I think most people write off lunging is because they just can't do it well. And that's really our fault as coaches because we don't give people the right progressions. So let's talk about how do we construct the lunge and how do we get people feeling more confident with it. Because if you look at how most of our clients probably feel when they lunge, is they go into a lunge and they feel like, dear God, I'm going to fall in this lunge. They don't know how to create stability and strength to handle the lunge. So one thing we can do when we're first constructing the lunge is just getting it down in this half kneeling position. So people like Ray Cook have talked about how this half kneeling position is basically your baseline for lunging. So we can do several things from here just to introduce the concept of lunging, because where people have problems is not necessarily the up and down, okay? They have enough sagittal plane strength. Where people lack strength is in that frontal plane. That's why most people, when they lunge, they come down and you see a lot of this lateral shaking going on. So right off the bat, we know they're not creating a lot of stability, and that usually comes from starting from the ground up. So first thing we want to do is get people to understand that everything happens by them pushing their feet down. So anything we do, lunging or just holding this half kneeling position, is they have to be actively pushing into the ground. So my glutes, my hamstrings should get active. That's going to give me a strong foundation. Then I want to tie in this core and lat concept that we've talked a lot about. We've talked about that your lat, core, and opposing glute work together when you walk and run. So it makes sense to engage them when you also are lunging. So the first thing we're going to do is just simply just get people in this half kneeling press up. So what's so great about using the Ultimate Sandbag here versus something else is that the load distribution keeps it so that I feel like I can basically press up so the crease of my elbows are going to face upwards. If the crease of my elbows finish upwards, I know I'm engaging my lat. If the crease of my elbows are inwards, it means I'm actually sort of shrugging my shoulders, I'm disconnecting that area. So I'm pushing through both sides, I grab on tightly, and slowly press out. And when I'm out there, you notice that my crease of my elbows are up, and I actively pull it in. If I allow those elbows to go out, I'll show you. This feels like a shoulder drill, gets up into my neck, very uncomfortable. This feels very strong, and I feel like I can press and stand at the same time. Pull in, press, come down, nice and slow. This was really important for me personally in my rehab when they gave me my spinal fusion. I lost all my strength in my right leg. So just working on that press out would have been a step enough. The stepping up will come later. So first step is literally just pressing out. Building that core, lat, glute strength, understanding how to press on the ground. Then what I love to do, and what the Ultimate Sandbag allows for, is to have us now challenge that frontal plane stability a little bit more. But we can do so in this half kneeling posture and position. So if I grab an Ultimate Sandbag here, and I keep my elbow in close, I'm actively grabbing the bag, I'm pushing through my feet, I'm going to slowly press the weight over the crown of my head, then pull it down the opposing side. Now, this is what we call an arc press in DVRT, and what it's doing is it's not just changing my center of mass up and down, but it's changing the stress in that frontal plane. So I can specifically challenge this frontal plane strength with this arc press, because as the load goes up, it challenges my ability to engage my core, press in the ground. Now, doing a single arm kettlebell or dumbbell press is great, but it doesn't give me that strong frontal plane component that I can get with an arc press. So here's two ways that you can introduce lunging more successfully to your clients or yourself, and we're going to build upon this concept over time.